Hello, it's time for me again, episode 70. So every 10th episode, I don't have a guest and I share something that I've either been thinking about or grappling with. And this time it's about what it means to tell my story, what it means for someone to tell their story. And the reason I'm struggling with that a bit is because I am writing a script for a solo performance for the Fringe Festival. And I've applied to be in the Fringe Festival in Montreal next summer. And I need to wait for the draw, because for Fringe Festival, there is zero attention apparently to quality. It's literally just having your name drawn from the hat and you get to be in the festival. So I'm waiting to hear. It's a bit later this month if I'm going to get in. And I've been doing solo show script writing courses over the last few months. It started actually in January. I did level 1, at some point in the summer, level 2, and now I'm in level 3, where you actually have to have a completed script. And I had chosen for my topic to talk about or to share my experiences of this year, where I did a couple of things that really pushed me outside of my comfort zone. And those were the photographs that I had taken both in Hawaii and in California. And to talk a little bit in general about or reflect on what it means to be seen, what it means to choose to show certain things of ourselves, certain aspects of ourselves, what we may choose to hide, whether we're really hiding what we think we're hiding and really revealing what we think we're revealing. So the show is a series of stories all related to that. But the reason I'm struggling is there are a couple of things that I think about. One is, in these days, there's a lot of thought around whose stories we can tell. So I can tell my story about me, what it means to be me, what I think about when I think about what it means to be me. But maybe I can't tell stories of others. So in the simplest way, if I am a Canadian woman of a certain age, can I tell stories about people who have very different life experiences than I do? In different parts of the world, different cultures, different ages. And there's a bit of a push right now to say we can't tell other people's stories. Which sort of means you have to tell your own. That's one thing that I think about. The other thing I think about, though, is that when I'm telling my story, if I'm taking a lot of time and energy to share my story, how do I avoid that being some kind of self-absorbed navel-gazing exercise? And the reason I think about that, or that it came to a head for me, is because in this class, and I obviously will leave out all names to protect the innocent, and I guess the guilty. In this case, I think I'm actually the one who's the guilty one. And it takes a lot of guts to share your story. And so I really respect this person who shared their story in the class. That's their script. It's just over an hour. And I had a very strong reaction to it. And I had to really think about why I had such a strong reaction. And it meant something to me because I think that there should be some kind of expectation that if you're going to tell your story through some form of art or some form of anything, if you're going to share your story, I think we need to share our stories in ways that actually help others connect to them. So what I really reacted to in the story that I heard, this person's life story, was some sense that I saw, and I could be completely wrong, this is where I might be the guilty one, but my sense was that that person felt that their story was quite unique. It was really special, and no one could really understand what it meant to be that person. And that actually kind of came out. It was said a few times. And there was some surprise on that person's part when some of the other people who were listening said, I could really connect to that. And the author was sort of surprised. I didn't expect that other people would really connect with my story. And I actually think that's the only, I shouldn't really be so dogmatic, but I have a really strong sense that if we're sharing our stories, we're doing it to connect with other people. And we're doing it to help those people maybe become aware of things in their own lives. And that happens because of the connection, because they can see themselves in our story. And the details aren't important. So the specifics of specific things that a person may experience may be unique. Probably not even unique given how many people there are in the world, but they're specific to that person in some way. My experiences might be very different, but I don't think that means that they are unique in the more general sense of human experience. And there are some really basic emotions that we all experience of not fitting in. Everybody, I'm pretty sure, has had the experience of not fitting in, or not feeling like they're a part of something larger outside themselves. We have shared experiences of grief, of joy, of fear, of elation, excitement, curiosity, challenge, pain. And the details don't really matter. And in a sense that the details bring an experience to life. So if there aren't details, I don't think we engage in it in the same way in that story. But the details are not what's important. What's important is that those details bring out these shared emotions, and so we can have a really strong visceral reaction to something that we see, to someone else's story, and it helps us see our own stories better or differently or more clearly, or we can question ourselves. Take the opportunity to look at ourselves in a different way through hearing someone else's story of what they have experienced. If that resonates, I would love to hear how you feel about what it means to share your story. I'd love to hear the forms in which you might share your story. It's conversation with friends all the way up to paintings or the theater or a memoir or a novel or whatever form it is that you take. What you think about how other people connect with what you share. Thank you very much for listening. I am looking forward to more episodes of wonderful conversations with guests who are so gracious to spend time with me and share their thoughts with me, and any feedback you may have about what I've shared today. Thank you.